Good morning, dear students and pupils. I'm glad to greet you again at our online lesson. My name is Miss Marina Lebedeva. So, our topic for today is causatives. So, we will discuss causative verbs. What is it? So, here I fixed some definition of causative verbs. Please look. They are catenative verbs expressing the reason for another action. How should you understand this definition? Causative verbs is not a new rule. You should remember this for the first of all. Is some form of the verb, is some form of expressing your ideas. In other words, in more simple way, you may say that it is a situation when some person is going to do something for you. So this person or this thing is an agent. In linguistics, you should say that is an agent. It's not someone or something, is an agent. Remember this rule, because then I will give you some structure and then there I will fix the word agent. What is a catenative? As I said before, causative verbs are catenative verbs. Catenative is a Latin word. What does it mean? It means that we have some chain of words and they are connected between each other with some common meaning, with some common purpose, aim. So that's why causative verbs are catenative verbs. Definition of catenative verbs sounds like transitive verbs that can form a sequence with other verbs. So they are connected with each other, as I said before. They are used in one of non-personal verb form. Non-personal, it means that you don't have tense and other signs which may define some information about this verb. Let's look at some example. So, verbs can be directly followed by another verb. For example, look. He deserves to win the cup. Deserves is a catenative verb. Why? Because directly followed by another verb, win, and you may see infinitive form with the verb win. So deserve is a definition, is a catenative verb followed directly by another verb. In this case, in the infinitive form. It may be different non-finite forms of the verb. Or, please look at another slide. I would like to mention one nuance, that not every verb may be a catenative verb. For example, when the subsequent verb is an adverbial modifier and not an object. Well, what is this? It means not all the verbs which go one by one I'm sorry, may be catenative verbs. You should mention that catenatives are connected with each other, and the first one explains the second one. For example, I came to see her. I came to see, it means we may ask some question. For example, I came for what? What was my purpose? What was the aim? I came to see. Here is just a sentence where we may express some meaning without agent. You may see that there is no any agent here. So this sentence is not causative sentence. And one more time, I will repeat definition of the causative verbs, because I have already explained you everything about catenative verbs. So, catenative verbs expressing the reason for another action. So, we will explain why the previous action was made. Now, let's go to the causative directly. We will discuss. Actually, causative form may have active form and passive form. In active form, we have some particular structure. In passive form, we have another structure. Look, in active form, this structure like this. subject plus causative verb plus agent is a person who is doing something for you, who is doing something instead of you. Then verb and object. And please pay attention that causative verb takes tense, not verb and not finite form, but causative verb. It may be present, it may be past, it may be future. It depends on your situation and your idea. Of course, agent may be, as I said before, person or thing. And you should remember, you should please fix this structure somewhere. And let's go on. So, actually we have a lot of causative verbs, but some of them are really obvious and we do not have any necessity to discuss them, because it's obvious that someone has another person for doing something. Now, just look at this table. Have, let, make and get. These main 4 verbs that we use as a causative verbs. I gave some definition near these verbs, so you may see, but I'm sure even that you know the meaning, the translation of that words, and you will get some information how should we use them in our speech and how should we create causative sentence actually. Please. Okay, so now please look at the verb get. Here I fixed also 2 examples for you. I'll get my friend to do my work, or I got my sister to cook my lunch. You will ask, what is the difference between get and have? Because they are similar in their meaning. So someone, for example, friend and sister, did something for us, and in the examples with a have, it was also some person who did something for us. Well, it's a convincing or persuading someone. You do not pay them, you ask them. They do some things for us because they are kind, because they are nice, and for them it's pleasure to help us. So it's a little bit different. Have, it's their job, it's their work for the payment, and here it's just help to some person. That's why, please remember the difference between get and have. Please. The next one is let. Also 2 examples, but I think that you know the usage of the word let. It means that you giving the allowance for doing something. For example, will you let me go? You ask someone about going somewhere. Or Eric let his friend borrow his car. Pay attention that borrow and go, I wrote, I fixed here without participle to. Why? Because after let, you shouldn't use in any case participle to with another verb. Remember this rule also. So, giving permission to someone. So, it was about let. Next one is make. Make, it means as a fixed forcing someone. Look, I will make my little sister help me about the house. So, I may force her because I'm elder and maybe she will do something for me because it's her obligation also. Well, or mother made her son put on warm jacket. She also forced, maybe her son didn't want, but she forced him. And pay attention that I used future, present, as I said before. You may use different tenses for your causatives. It depends on the case. Now get. Look at the examples. I'll get my friend to do my work. Well, and I got my sister to cook my lunch. When we use get, it's similar with have, but we have a little nuance, a little difference between them. So, convincing or persuading someone. So when we use have, we may say that we pay them, but here we ask them, because someone is kind and I'm sorry, mistake, friend. Someone is kind or nice and he or she may do this. So I got my friend because he's kind, I got my sister because she's kind. So we may ask them and they will do something for us. Okay, that's all about active. Now we'll go to the passive voice. Here I fixed with a red color structure of passive voice, and I decided to fix active voice structure with a blue one in order to give you a chance to compare to these structures. Look, subject and subject. It is similar in both of the parts. Then causative verb. Here and here you may see them in the both of the sentences. Then if in our active voice we had agent, here we have object. After that we have verb and agent only. Why I put agent into brackets? Because sometimes there is no necessity to say about person, because obvious. Because there is no necessity to explain that someone did some work. I will explain you later how can it be. In our passive form of causative verbs, in causative sentences, we used to fix two verbs, have and get. So, look please, I omitted let and get. We have really rare cases when we should use them. Only have and get in such kind of situations. So let's look at the usage of have in passive form of the verb. I had my hair cut. I had my homework done. Alice had her house cleaned. So please look. I is subject. Had is causative verb. Then my hair, I changed instead of agent. Now it's object and cut. When we talk about your hair cut, it's obvious that it was done by barber, by a hairdresser. That's why here it is not necessary to write to fix agent. Sometimes it's possible, it's necessary, it's up to you, but if it's obvious, you may leave just. And by the way, pay attention to one detail, cut. Cut, cut, cut. This verb, irregular. That's why three forms of this verb are similar. But please look at the second sentence with the verb done. Actually, do, did, done. Done is a third form of irregular verb. It means that we use past participle form. Use non-finite form in active. Here it is used past participle. Now get. So what can I say about get? I get my breakfast cooked. Again, verb took the tense, but not causative. Causative we fix in bare infinitive form without participle to. I get my breakfast cooked. It was done. So, or he get his suit delivered. Maybe from the shop, maybe from the laundry. It depends on the case. Again, so subject, causative verb, object and verb in past participle form ending ed or the third column of irregular verb. So that is all about causative verbs. So remember that they are different from our regular sentences. When we need someone do something for us, we use causative form. I hope that this lesson was interesting for you. If you have any questions, you may write them to my mail, because I don't have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter accounts. So if you will find out them, they are fake. Just send me letters to this mail. See you, have a good day and stay at home.